I'm muted. Haha. I was like, where in the world is that coming from? um, all right, let's get this put up over here and let's get this one put up over here. There we go. Hello, hello, hello. Incredible greetings, everyone. At some point here, I need to get my phone set up so that I can actually go live on, well, be live on TikTok and Instagram at the same time with Facebook and YouTube. But hey, for now, we'll stick with, what we have because I set myself up through StreamYard and it's so easy. Okay. So let me go over here and share this out. Um, I really hate the fact that I can no longer change my audience on my live videos. Like, it sucks. They made that change and I don't like it at all that I cannot change the audience on these anymore. So I always just have to share it from our business page. So make sure you follow us on 365 Creative Academy as well over on Facebook because that one always remains public. How are y'all doing today? It's a teacher planning day, so my kiddos are out of school. Although by now, well, I would actually be doing pickup right now, had it been a regular school day, because MJ would have been out, but we'd have had a what 5 more minutes, 7 more minutes for Zion Imani. So they made that change, and all right, hush up. All right, let's go ahead and I cannot change. Okay, why won't it let me? No, it's not letting me share from this one. Okay, there we go. Group. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Why did I put a question mark? I meant to put an exclamation mark, not a question mark, but okay. All right, so how you doing? Hello, 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 hello. Incredible greetings. I am Shakeya, the professor of HS Inc. 365. We are the home of Subaholics Anonymous, honestly speaking, where we carry the best sublimation paper and ink that allows you to sublimate as low as 365 degrees, as fast as 30 seconds. We are also the home of 365 Creative Academy, where we help you to unlock your creativity in a wide variety of trainings. Everything to like how to make t-shirts, how to make party favors, phone board creations, like just creating design, like digital designs, um, how to design and process for DTF. Like there's just so many different things that we teach. My main focus is normally design. For the industry that, let me take this out of my mouth because that is so rude. The industry that I cater to, which are those who are creatives, crafters, those who want to create customized items. Even if you're not really customized, well, I guess you're making things for for businesses, in making like apparel or promo things, stuff like that. It still kind of falls under that like whole print shop type deal and like customized things. The foundation of it is designing, whether you are designing it for yourself or you have a design team. Companies have design departments and design teams. If you are purchasing templates, things of that nature, for me, I truly believe designing is the foundation for everything that we do within this industry, especially for the customization and personalization side of the industry. And so I like to try and make your lives a little bit easier. I have been at this for 26 years. I am 44, okay? And I got started in this when I was in high school. So I was, able to do like to learn a lot of these things when it wasn't so much pressure on me. I started in high school. I continued to work and develop skills, when I was in the military, but that was my bread and butter. But this was like, designing and creating things and like crafting and just making customized items, like that was just a part, like that was a hobby for me. It was something I just enjoyed doing. And now, all these years later, I'm able to teach it to others. I know it gets a little harder the older we get. Like what's the old saying, old saying, can't teach an old dog new tricks. But there are so many people that just want to learn new things in this economy. We now know that, having just one source of income is not a good thing. And a lot of people pick these different skills up so that they can add to their finances every month, every week, however you break yours down. And then there are some people, because society has changed so much and it gets so stressful and so many things happen, especially around like the pandemic time, and people needed different coping mechanisms. Being creative was that outlet. And I like to share the things that I have learned over the years with others. I have a unique way of being able to teach what I know, because everybody isn't a great teacher. Some people can do things really, really well, but being able to teach someone where they feel empowered, they really understand and have a comprehension of it. I personally feel like that's a gift. It takes a special type of person to really be an effective educator. Okay. And that's what, I am. I'm an educator of all things creative. My main program that I love to work in is Silhouette Studio. It is the program that is used to control the Cameo or the Silhouette family of machines. However, if you did not know, you can use it as a standalone. Let me move my chair up. Jesus, I feel so low. There we go. Much better. It's like, why do I feel like I'm looking up to the camera instead of right at the camera? But if you did not know, you can use Silhouette Studio as a standalone graphic designing software. This is not sponsored. I keep saying it, one day, maybe, because I do love the company. It would be nice to be recognized for all of the free promo I've given them for the past 10 years. But Silhouette Studio is just an amazing, it changed business for me, because I used to cut everything by hand. Those times where, money got a little funny, being able to have a program like Silhouette Studio, like back then, would have been great, because you can do a lot within the program, the free version. But I always recommend getting the upgraded version because of what it allows you to do to make your life a little bit easier. Like there's little things here and there where it will eliminate a step or two, or there are certain tools and functions that are not available in the free version. Being able to save your projects, to be able to transfer it to different programs, that's always great as well. So I'm always going to advocate, even without an official sponsorship, which I know is probably bad, because that's probably why I'll never get one. But it's okay. I do this for y'all. I love Silhouette Studio and just the machines in general. I have 8 of them. So that lets you know, I really do like the machines. Print and cut is my jam. That's the main thing that I got it for. So if you ever have print and cut questions tried to come out before cut. Print and cut questions, I'm your girl. Feel free to ask them when you're on these live videos, and things of that nature. I don't really answer DMs about them, but if you post a question like in my group, if you ask the question on these live videos, I'd be more than happy to answer your questions. We also have a print and cut workshop. Oh, speaking of which, I need to actually put the things in there for next week's print and cut workshop. We have a live session next week for our print and cut workshop. So that's going to be pretty cool. But if you have questions about that, always drop them. Design questions, always drop them. I love teaching design. So we're going to talk about design today and things that can help make your life a little bit easier. There are some mindset blocks that I see often in groups. And when I'm talking to others, like there is this block in your mind about wanting one program to be your everything. And that can be detrimental to the creative process, wanting one program to be everything. If one program solved every design issue, why would Adobe, one of the biggest and most well-known companies for graphics and graphic design and things like that, why would they have multiple platforms? There's Photoshop and Illustrator. Like those are the main two that most people know. And then like when you think about like just editing pictures, you have Photoshop and then you also have Lightroom. Like they're slightly different. There's Photoshop Elements for those who don't really have like Photoshop. And there's some other things in there as well, some other platforms that aid in designing. We look at Affinity, right? Affinity had Affinity Photo and Affinity Designer because there's two different types of designs, raster and vector. And one of those programs was, more effective for raster because of the tools and functions there. And then you have, I say raster first or vector. Well, I'll say vector, which is like the design or Adobe Illustrator. And then you have one that's better for raster, which is where you are designing based off of pixels. That's where you can do like your fades and things of that nature and blurs because it's based off of like pixels. It's easier in those programs, whereas raster, it's like straight lines and shapes. Silhouette Studio with vector is straight lines and shapes. Silhouette Studio is a vector-based program. So it is technically more equivalent to your Adobe Illustrator, your Affinity Designer, Corel Draw, things of that nature. But there are some, I guess you would say, Photoshop-esque or like raster-esque, like in how you can adjust the hue and saturation, how you can adjust contrast and brightness, you can adjust your gamma, you can invert colors, things of that nature. Canva is a great program. Like, that's something that's kind of newer to most. It's becoming more and more mainstream, but they're not really like brand spanking new company. They've been around for quite some time, but it's now becoming a lot more mainstream. You can tell they're putting a lot more effort into marketing and advertising for it. So more people are utilizing it. It's so weird because Canva isn't really there for you to create elements from scratch, right? They provide a lot of elements for you that are already vectorized. And that's normally what you see under graphics. And those are ones where you can click on a color and you can change it and it will be that exact color. Whereas when you have like a PNG or a JPEG, now in the newer update, you'll see the color circles. But when you click on that, it's like picking up all of those, like wherever that tone of color shows up at, and it's more of a blend mode. Most people don't know what blend modes are because they never really worked in programs like Photoshop where, blend modes is a really important factor in Photoshop. So when you change the color, it doesn't give like, wait a minute, I'm pretty sure this has happened to you guys. You change the color and it's like, this isn't the color that I want. Like, and sometimes it can be way off and it's because it's a blend. You have to figure out what the right color is. So while there are some things that, tools and functions that you would find in Photoshop and things of that nature, in Canva, it's not really creating all the things. Like I said, like the vector, like all the elements and things in there. You go into a program like Photoshop or Illustrator or Affinity or even Silhouette Studio for certain things, you can literally create these elements from scratch yourself. So if it's a sun, so making the circle, making all of the rays and adding the colors and things like that, and being able to easily, have it go in a circle where you're not like repeating, like duplicating it or copy and pasting it, and then you're going to move it and you're going to rotate it, and then you're going to move it and you're going to rotate it. You're going to move it and you're going to rotate it. Like there are tools and functions where you create the one and it will create the duplicates based off of, a certain rotation and things of that nature for you. So it makes things quicker for you in certain programs, versus like ones like Canva. Canva is very AI driven. AI is what's the rage right now. Like everything incorporates AI. It is crazy to me that just a few months ago, people were saying how bad AI was when there was like a few places like for image generation, it was like Mid Journey. That was the one. You know, you had to have what's the application? You had to have, is it Discord? In order to like really be able to use Mid Journey. You had like your Chat GPT. Now there's been other like AI components in some of everything. It's just technology, but it's now more advanced technology. And so people would have like the Mid Journey, and that was creating images. And then you got a little bit of like the Bing, and then there's a few others, but like those were like the major ones. And people would say, "Oh my God, y'all got to stop using this AI. It is destroying the earth. It takes up so much. It takes so much water, and this and the third." And people made it seem as if it was only when you were using ChatGPT or only when you were creating images. But now you can't do anything without some sort of AI component being attached to it. You go and you do a Google search now. You don't just get the websites that have the information. Now you get an AI review like at the top. So AI is working in the background there. On our Facebook pages, like under Facebook posts, you click on it, there's an AI there. There's Meta AI. So like AI is AI. So I'm like, are we slowly, hurting our planet like with this? But there's no going back now. Like, I mean, people are starting to become very, very dependent on AI. We don't know. I doubt it'll ever leave, but it's like anything else, we as a human race, I feel like we get bored of things. So eventually, it may not be the thing. There's so many things that we've, have been mainstream and now it's like forgotten about. But I do know Photoshop and design programs and just understanding design in general where you have control. This is something that, just gets better and better. I don't think it's ever going to go anywhere. The technology makes your life a little bit easier. Photoshop has always added like, new tools and things like that, which makes it overwhelming. The more that they add, it seems overwhelming when people look at it, which is why a lot of creatives and hobbyists and things, they like Cricut. They like Design Space. It's safe. It's user friendly because they don't have a lot of tools. You go and you open it up and you don't feel overwhelmed like, oh my God, what did I get myself into? And while Cricut Design Space does offer, some things where you can customize it, they're still very limited as well. So you need to learn how to incorporate different programs. I have a lot of hybrid students that will utilize Silhouette Studio to create designs from scratch and then be able to take it over to Cricut Design Space because that's their, like they only have a Cricut machine. So they need to be able to put it over there for a print and cut or to cut from vinyl or to cut from sticker paper or cut from HTV. The first vinyl I was thinking of like adhesive vinyl. So where they're cutting adhesive vinyl or HTV. So they would have to take it to that program in order to run that machine. But just because you have a Cricut machine, please understand, you are not restricted to just using Cricut Design Space. There are a lot of other programs that you can use. When you go and you're purchasing an SVG, they're not creating that. We're not creating that in Cricut Design Space, because it does not allow you to take that creation outside of Cricut Design Space. There is no save button to save as an SVG, as an EPS, as a PNG, as a JPEG, as a PDF. There's no way of doing that. So you couldn't really create there. And now what's the big thing is digital products. So many of you guys are so stuck on Cricut Design Space that you won't be able to tap into the digital market because you are refusing to learn a different program. So I encourage each and everyone, pick another program and attempt to learn it. Maybe even two. Like for me, I think, Silhouette Studio and Canva are great. Photopea is a free version of Photoshop. It's Photoshop-esque. And you can use, they just have to deal with a lot of ads and things of that nature. And like you can slowly build your way up to these programs. You don't have to teach learning graphic design as if like You have to learn it today. If not, it's like, your whole business is going to fall apart if you don't learn these methods today. It is okay to take your time. If it takes you 6 months, if it takes you a year, if it takes you 2 years. I am 2 decades in, okay? Almost 3. And I'm always learning something new. It is a forever evolving process when it comes to designing. Now, if you're like, I just want to make money off of it, I don't want to learn to design, like, what's the easiest way? Then you will still got to invest some money. I know I see a lot of people saying, oh, why are people charging for prompts? Because it's with AI, like, you can get some results. And if we're willing to kind of take the long route, and you're going to keep asking your chat, or like your AI generator, like kind of feed it questions to get the perfect prompt, and then be able to tweak it and do this, do that. You can take the time to do that. Yes, anybody can do it. But when people go and they have these prompts, they're getting these amazing results. And it's a great prompt when multiple people can use it, and they're getting very, very like similar results, where like everybody dang on photo shoot now looks exactly the same. That's the signs of like a really, really great prompt. And for someone to develop that, they should receive some compensation, because here are people now creating all these things, and this person is saving you all this money. You don't have to go out and get your hair done, your makeup done, get a wardrobe, book the session, you don't have to do all that, right? That can cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars. And people are complaining that people want to charge for their prompts. Like, they're like, it like, that's a hot commodity right now in the way that the world is going with AI. So yeah, I don't blame people for wanting to sell the things that they have worked to perfect, because I have taken things and put them in different generators, and you don't get the same results. You definitely don't get the same results. But there are a lot of people, they're like, I just want to type this in, tell it what I want, and whatever it spits out, boom, let me utilize that, especially since text has gotten a lot better with AI. Not even a year ago, I would say like not even a year ago, you would create things with text and it would add so many extra letters. The words just did not match. Like, it was just all over the place when it came to words with and generating like images with words and stuff with AI. Like, it was always give you extra letters, or it's misspelled, things of that nature. And because it's gotten better, people want to now utilize that more. Like, the expectation is, this is what I have in my mind. Some people wish they can like take a plug it to their brain, because to be honest, they don't know how to articulate it to the AI generators. Like, they can visualize it in their head, but trying to speak it or trying to type it to get it on within these generators, or like they think that they said it right, and it comes back and it's like, this is not what I wanted. This is not what I was envisioning. Like, it's not as easy as you think to make this come out the way that you're envisioning. You can't just plug it in. But that's what a lot of people are expecting. Sometimes people will get certain images and they absolutely love them, and they just want a color change. You can't always go into a generator and just say, hey, change this color, right? This is like, there are programs like Canva, you can kind of sort of do that, and it will change certain colors for you, and it won't really alter a lot of things. But when people want to pinpoint areas, that's where it becomes a little bit tricky with trying to just use like doing it at a click of a button. But if you learn programs like Photoshop or Affinity Photo or Photo P and things like that, where you can select and isolate the area that you want to change, you can make just those changes. Then you have people who are like, okay, well, I like this, but I want a different name. You go in, you try and put that prompt in with a different name, and guess what? Now it doesn't match the original. You really, really liked exactly how the original was. You have to understand that AI is never going to give you an exact replica. Like, my chat literally told me that it could not do that. So I don't know, like, I mean, I know some people are using like Gemini and things like that, but my chat would not. They said it went against their terms to take my picture and create what, some people call like an AI twin. It tells me that it's against their terms and conditions. Like, they cannot do that. Like they can take a prompt and just kind of create something general and kind of pull from like features of my face, but to create an AI twin, it can't do that, right? And I pay for chat. I've seen some people do like the photo shoots and things of that nature, and it will change, like it'll put them in different poses, but it changes the outfit, it changes the shoes, their hair is slightly changed, their makeup is different, their nails are different. So if you're wanting all these things to be cohesive, you have to learn how to use actual design softwares that will allow you to do that. There is no shortcut. There's no easy way out. Okay. So I do my best to try and introduce and like educate you guys on different programs so that you are unstoppable. You know, your creativity is completely unlocked and you can get closer to the results that you want. Let me see. I was trying to get back. I always forget. And then I hear Javaya in my head saying, girl, go to Facebook. You forgot about us. And so let me come over here. Hold on. All right, there we go. So what design programs are you guys currently using? Those of you who are watching right now, what design programs are you using? And I cannot believe not one of y'all came on here and said hello. I know y'all were raised better than that to walk in the room and not speak. I know y'all were raised better than that. So y'all on here and I can see the numbers and y'all chose not to say hello. That is rude. But hello to y'all. And let me know, what design programs are you using? And if also like, I mean, outside of that, if y'all say like this is now, I'm waiting for y'all to answer, but if you say you love me, drop a comment. Y'all, I promise you, it helps. If you just come on and just say hello, hey girl, how you doing? Even if you can't stay, that helps. As much as y'all say y'all love folk, y'all support them and this, that, and the third or whatever, if somebody is providing you something, education, entertainment, especially if, for the y'all that cut out your cable, you're cutting out your subscriptions, you don't cancel Hulu and Netflix and Amazon because stuff is getting too expensive, and you are getting your entertainment from the people on social media, at least leave folk a comment. Okay? Say hello, laugh at it, cry at it, put up. I don't care if you don't like it. If it made you mad, click that emoji, click that reaction, write it in the chat. It helps people who are taking the time to create content. That is one of the easiest things to do and the best things to do. Like, you come on, if you're on more than 3-5 seconds, like the video. Because that's what they base it on is, 3-second views, 5-second views, and so forth. But if you're on for a while, like the video. Obviously, if you're on for like 30 seconds a minute, that means something on there was intriguing for you. Like the video, leave a comment, share it with somebody, like help out the creators that are helping you. Because just like me, there's a lot of creators that come on because this is a form of free advertisement where we don't have to spend so much in ad dollars to promote and advertise services, but we're not obligated to share these things with you that you may not have known. And this is a full-time job. So all of those little things help, especially if you're not going to purchase a class or purchase a product or anything like that. At least help folks get their coins, on the social side from the metaverse and the Googles and, all of those people. So, all right. So that was my little rant. So some of that, hello, welcome, C-Mills. Photoshop, Illustrator, and Silhouette. Okay. Learning to use Silhouette Studio. Hello, Anne. I'm incredible. How are you? I don't usually get to see you, but since I'm furloughed, I have some free. And, that's another thing, like my prayers to everyone who is affected by this shutdown right now. So my my prayers go out to everyone, and I pray that this is resolved quickly and we don't have another 35-day, because to me, the way the economy was and the way things were the first time this happened, and it was like 35 days, is a lot different than it is now. I just went to the grocery store and I'm like, how, where did $165 you used to have literally a cart full of stuff? It was like a few things, and I'm like, where did this go? How did this get up so high? I was looking at your page. So sorry, this is my first time seeing your page. So Canva and Photoshop. I am typing, but you're not seeing it. So no, I was talking. So now I'm going back through it and seeing it. So, but welcome. So glad you found us here. I am streaming to 3 different YouTubes, and so I'm not sure which one you are on. So we have Silaholics Anonymous, Honestly Speaking, and 365 Creative Academy. My goal is to completely separate it. And like when I'm doing these, I go live on all of them. I do plan to get back to more pre-recorded content, and that content will be like Silaholics Anonymous, strictly for all things Silah Studio. To be honest, I'm just going to start to repeat some of the things that I've already done, because I've been at this for 10 years. I'm not a newbie to this, and a lot of people are getting new channels because they're like creating faceless things, and they're creating. I saw one channel where the person is not on it at all. She uses an AI image for everything. So people are creating like YouTube channels for things like that. But I've been at this for 10 years. I have videos that are 10 years old that I promise you can still learn from today. If you were to follow my video from 10 years ago, even though it is from version 2 or from version 3, as long as you are clicking on the tools that I am mentioning, you could accomplish the same things that I created then, because the program hasn't really changed. It's just the outlook of it has changed. So you can watch videos from way back then. So like I said, I'm on that channel. So I'm going to do videos that's just silhouette related for there. The Honestly Speaking channel is the one where it's going to be in limbo a little bit. That was like, originally that was my platform, because we do have a custom side. So that was my elite prints and creations. So when I was making a lot of like different things and stuff like that, that's where I shared those at. Like it was my business page for my custom side. Well, once we created Honestly Speaking, I really didn't want to create a whole new YouTube channel. I was being really, really lazy with that, being full transparency. Full transparency, I didn't want to create a new YouTube channel. So I just kind of changed the name and all the branding on that one for Honestly Speaking, because we came out with the sublimation brand for the sublimation paper and ink. Okay. So we just have that one. And that one was mainly supposed to be to promote our products. It's harder now, like just me being the person to promote it. I would like to be able to showcase other people using our products like on there as well, but I just don't have the capacity to keep making content and videos about the same thing. Like, I don't know how many times people want to see how to sublimate a shirt, how to sublimate a tumbler. Like, my technique does not change. The process doesn't change. So at that point, I'm like just kind of creating things just for new people who don't want, I'm not gonna say it like in a different way, but like who don't want to go back and look at older videos, or for those who like your brain tells you, well, that video is 4 years old. I don't want to watch that. I want an updated video, even though the process is the exact same and it's like the best training. For some people, their brain tells them not to watch older videos because so many people are making videos now, and you feel like, oh, well, I want to find a video that was within the last 6 months, within the year. And I just don't have the capacity to continue to do the same things over and over and over again just for a few views. So I don't really know what to do with Honestly Speaking's YouTube channel. And then, of course, we have 365 Creative Academy, which we're going to end up doing more. That's about like the classes and things like that, and like kind of like pre classes to the different like actual full-on classes that we have coming up. So, all right. So I'm not sure if you saw, but I do see yours. I was just asking like which platform you are watching on. Okay. Hey, Kat. Hey, Teresa. All right. So, like I said, I saw some Photoshop. I saw Canva. I only saw one person that's using Silhouette Studio. I'm sorry. So, one person that's using it and one that's learning to use Silhouette Studio. Is that the only design? So, you're learning to use Silhouette Studio. Is that the only design platform you're using? Or were you using something else previously, like, before that, before you got into Silhouette Studio? What do you guys feel like to you when you're approaching design? What is the hardest part for you when it comes to designing? I am not a podcaster a lot. And, some people have asked about that. And I think if I were to like partner with somebody and we can banter off of like one another, or if I maybe did it like interview style, but I like to teach, not interview. So I don't know how that would work. But I'm not a podcaster where it's like, okay, just kind of just go talk, talk, talk. I'm an educator and I like to ask questions. So I know not everybody can interact and, respond back, but, if you can, that would be great. Okay. Okay. So coming up with a design. All right. Wait, let me see. Okay. So coming up with a design, but okay. So let's kind of like dissect that a little bit. Is it that do you find that it's harder for you because in your mind you want to be totally original? I want it to be mine. I don't want it to look like anybody else's. Is that where some of that comes in at for you? So Silhouette Studio only, considering Canva, it's free. For anyone considering Canva, it doesn't hurt to go ahead and, if you have the space on your phone, because, like it's a mobile device. If you have that space for that app, go ahead and get it on the computer. It doesn't require any space. You're not really downloading anything. It's a website. So long as you have good internet, you can't lose by getting a free Canva account. Again, not a Canva ambassador. I don't do enough content to qualify to be one of their Canva ambassadors. I talk about a lot of different programs. So know that this is not sponsored, but I do recommend it. If you are somebody in the creative space, it does not hurt you to get Canva. It's free. It doesn't hurt you to download Silhouette Studio. It's free to use. As many free resources that you can, learn and add to your arsenal, the better. Hey. I have a Cricut, but thanks to you, I design in Silhouette Studio. Okay. I usually sit in front of the computer for like 20 minutes stuck. And do you have like a direction that you're going in? Are these things? Okay. Let me ask this question. This is another, so I can kind of figure that part out. Are you designing just to design because you want to just create something to put it out there that people will hopefully want to purchase on a shirt? I'm not sure what you do. If you want to let me know, like, do you design for shirts, invitations, party favors, things of that nature? Are you designing specifically for clients where you have a theme or an event, a color scheme that you're designing around? Or is it just literally like you're sitting there and it's just a free for all because you have no actual direction? You just know that you want to design something. Are you just trying to design something for like to sell a digital product? What is it that you're designing for? Okay. I have to be in a peaceful mood to design. My mood shows in my designs. Interesting. Yes. So pigment ink is like a regular print cartridge ink because there are different types of ink. For a standard at-home printer, there are, or like small office printers, like your Epsons, your HPs, I don't think they make Lexmarks anymore, but like your Epsons, your Canons, your HPs, Brother, things of that nature. There's going to be like ink wise, there's two types of ink. There's dye ink and there is pigment ink. So not every printer uses pigment ink. Pigment ink and dye inks are two different inks. I've literally had full-on sessions breaking down both of them. I'm a print geek. I like literally like 2-3 hour sessions, like online, not even, and I do have classes on them, but there's a difference in the inks, the way they output, the color payoff. Like there's just differences when it comes to the two inks. But our ink is pigment ink, which can be used in printers, but the printer needs to already be a printer that utilizes pigment ink. Because our bottles are like the eco tank bottles, people want, like, even if they're not doing sublimation, people want to put our pigment ink in like their 8550 or their 2803 or their 15,000, like for regular prints. And we don't recommend that because your colors are going to be off, because that printer is made to print out dye-based inks, not pigment inks. So yes, it's regular ink, but it's not made for every single printer that's out there. So hopefully that helps. Okay, so it's not just about our ink. When it comes to the new printers, the 7840 and the 7820, while yes, you can take our ink, which is pigment ink, I will say, even if you keep their cyan, magenta, and yellow, our black ink tops theirs because theirs scrapes off a lot. It's like they changed the way they like make the pigment inks. And so a lot of people purchase like just our black ink to be able to use with those, even though they use the Epson genuine cartridges, because with those particular printers, they are not like the 7710, 7720, like all those older workforce printers where you can reset the cartridge. With the newer versions and the refillable cartridges for those, you have to keep changing out the chip. So for those who want to convert it to sublimation, to avoid having chips that won't read, they would have to purchase the regular cartridge, take the chip off, put that on their refillables so that sublimation ink can flow through that. That cartridge that had that pigment ink in it, like the genuine one, you can't do anything with it because it just holds the ink. It doesn't do anything. It's pointless. Like it's useless without the chip. So with regular ink being in there, you just throw that away. But if you're using it as a regular ink printer, it makes no sense to go and buy our ink because it's going to give you the exact same results. Hopefully that makes sense. I want to move away from having to keep other cartridges. I'm not sure what you mean by that because you're still going to have to use cartridges. And you're going to have to change out the chips every single time. And the ink that comes in the Epson one, if you're not wanting to make it sublimation, that is pigment ink. So it's the only thing that you would possibly be saving is, saving a little bit of money because the XL cartridges are quite expensive. Well, for most people, like crafters and those who are not like major businesses, they consider that to be a little bit expensive for the cost of the XL inks. That's the only thing. But when you get a chip, it's going to cost you less money. When it comes to the bottles, when it comes to the cartridges, like the chips, they can be, depending on where you're getting them from, it can be less expensive, but you have to keep changing that chip out. Or like when you have the system, they should send you on a little clip and you just take one clip off and put another one on. But those only last for so long. You need to change out the physical cartridges like every couple of months also, because the little plunger in there will wear itself out because it's not meant to be taken in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out. So there's a lot of wear and tear on the refillable cartridges as well. So it can be like you're kind of sort of saving a little bit of money, especially if you're doing a lot of printing and you're using the premium matte setting for everything. That drains a cartridge like nobody's business. But if you're doing a lot of regular prints, I wouldn't recommend the 7840 like those anymore. Like the old workforces, yes, but the new ones, because you cannot reset the cartridges, There is no continuous ink system. I don't care what anyone tells you. Even with the continuous ink system, you have to change out the chips on there. There is no way to reset that system at all. At all. And you can take my word for it or not, but I could either tell you, yes, go ahead, get it, and I can take your money. I have no problem. I would love for you to come and buy up this pigment ink, and then it just sit there and my bottles of ink just look really cute because our colors are absolutely amazing. Our bottles of ink would just look really, really cute in your craft space. I would love for that to be the case, but I'm not going to do that, like, and just tell you just to go buy it. I'm an educator first, and I want you to know like what you're spending your money on, and it's kind of pointless to get all of the colors and refillables if you're leaving it as a standard printer. It's not even worth the headache because a lot of these chips don't work with certain firmwares. So if you happen to update the firmware and this chip stopped at this particular firmware, guess what? You spent all this money on these chips. They're not going to work no matter what you do. And a lot of the companies don't take them back. So it's like, you have to decide if it's worth it for you. Okay. Recommended. I want to ask this question first. Do you have a budget? Do you have a specific number that you would like to stay within for this printer? All right. And I know we're talking about that, but we're supposed to talk about design, but I don't mind answering those questions either. So, okay. So, I'm clueless when it comes to myself, right? Okay, people say that. What's the max amount that you want to spend? So I'll ask it that way. What's the max amount that you want to spend? Because people say no, because it's like no up until a certain number. Then after that, it's like, excuse me, pump your brakes. What's your max number? But let's go back up here as far as clueless when it comes to designing. How many of you guys have clients where, see, there's a limit. There's no option I can recommend for you if that's your max budget. There's not even sense in me even saying it because it is basically double that. So there's no sense in me even saying the recommendation if you're trying to stay 500 or lower. When you're trying to come up with designs for yourself, is it truly just for you, like something that you want to use for yourself, or you're saying I have trouble coming up with designs, like general designs to sell to people? Are you wanting to create designs that are specifically made to go on something, or are you just trying to create digital files? And anyone can answer that. Because if you're struggling with designing and you feel like, when it comes to me just trying to design, I'm struggling, anyone can answer that. Okay. General designs to sell. Okay. Are you going to make these designs fit specific things? So let's say you come up with, well, right now everyone's doing like homecoming, right? So when you're creating a homecoming design, in your mind, is it just creating one thing? And do you have like in your mind how someone's going to use it? Or if they want it on something else, they should just shrink it down? Or are you wanting to create it for specific things? Like I have a shirt, I can design this homecoming design to fit a shirt, but then I have to rearrange it for a tumbler. I have to rearrange it for a fan. I have to rearrange it for a towel. I have making it fit those sizes. Or for you, is it, I just want to create one thing. Maybe someone's going to have some type of like tailgating or whatever, and they want to have some customized items at their tailgate. So they need a chip bag, or they need custom water bottle labels, or they want to have, a custom wrap for beer, but it has like the school name and stuff on it. Are you wanting to create for each one of those things, or like one general design? Design for myself. So are you writing down your ideas? So like, I don't know. I don't create a lot of things like just for me. So is it like you just want to make yourself like a birthday shirt? Are you wanting, is it like you're making stuff for your kids, like shirts? What is that you're designing? In my mind, I want to come up with one design to sell as my brand. So see, that's different. This is why I'm like, this is exactly why I ask a lot of questions, because a brand is very different than just creating designs to sell digital products, because that means you have to come up with new designs almost all the time, so that you're like keeping up with like the different seasons. Those who want to really sell digitals, they're kind of frustrated. Not say frustrated, but like it can become overwhelming, and they have to really think about designing for fall, designing for winter. And if you're doing fall, some people may want to do just like general fall designs. And then you have some who are very much so theme based. So they're going to create some things that are Halloween based or Thanksgiving based or whatever, like different things that kind of happen around that time. Then when it comes to winter, some people just like winter sceneries. And then there's going to be some people that design for specific holidays around that time. Then there's New Year's, and then there's Valentine's, and there's St. Patrick's, and there's 4th of July, there's Juneteenth, there's Black History Month. Right now, there's a lot of people designing for Hispanic heritage and this, that, and the third. Then you have Haitian, and then you have this. Like there's some where it can be very overwhelming because they're trying to design for every single thing that pops up either in their local area or that, you know, might be able to fit nationwide. Right now, breast cancer designs, everyone's scrambling, trying to figure out how to create something for breast cancer because we're in October. But if you're trying to create something for a brand, brands don't usually have to come up with new ideas all the time. You're going to come up with something that is your logo and that's your brand. And even when they're making graphic tees, they're ones for certain seasons. So they're not worried about creating a bunch of different, you know, designs like all the time. They'll design for almost like in quarters, like they'll design for certain seasons and they make a certain amount of that particular design and then it pretty much goes away. So creating for a brand is different. I find that there's a lot of people that say they want to have a brand, but what they're really trying to create is merch, not a brand. So it's important to understand the differences between even things like that. Like if you're designing for a brand, if you're just designing merch, if you're designing customs, keepsakes, novelty items, there are a lot of categories to designing and it will affect how you design. You're very welcome. She says, merch, that's it, right? So, what's your style? Do you have a journal? Are you keeping notes? Are you looking for inspiration pictures? Are you someone that feels like, well, I don't want to look at somebody else's stuff. I don't want to design based off of theirs because I want it to be mine. I don't want anyone to feel like I'm stealing their stuff. Like, I feel like that is a disease in the creative industry. And because there are so many people that are very malicious in how they do things and they straight up just steal and take from people and never want to acknowledge, you know, those people who they have taken things from. Others now in the craft community are like, oh, I don't want to be like that. I don't want to take their stuff. I don't want to do this. I don't do that. But there's a difference in straight up ripping something off and putting in the work and making it your own. She says, yes, yes, and yes. I'll show you an example of that, okay? Let me, because I was actually working on this graphic in Canva. Let me see. Where is it, child? I don't know which. Okay, probably on, nope, it's not this. My son gets on me on this all the time. He's like, Mommy, why do you have so many windows open? Boy, mind your business. Stay out of grown people business. I don't come in there and tell you about all the stuff you got open up on your computer. Like, leave me be. But this is kind of ridiculous. Nope, not that one, child. Goodness, good grief. Okay, I'm just gonna, and here I go. I'm like, I can't find this, so I'm just gonna open up a new one. This is why I end up with so many darn tabs open up on my computer. Okay, so we're gonna come here and I'll move these off the screen a little bit here. All right, so let me present, share screen, entire screen. Oh wait, wrong one, screen one. share, present, share screen, the entire screen, screen one, share, add to stage. All this work I have to do just to do this. This is great. Like, add to stage. And there we go. Okay. So I had a client that wanted some shirts for her son, right? And she sent these. So it was basically saying, I had never heard of this show. Now Zani Mani is intrigued by it when he saw it. So it's a show, or it's something that's called Number Blocks. Never heard of it. But I'm guessing, it's something that, her son watches. So she wanted a shirt that was with this theme, but the number 7, right? Because he was turning 7 years old. Because it's like one for school, and then he's gonna, I guess, like have like another party, and then one's like wear, like he's also gonna wear one of these same shirts to church. She wanted 2 different shirts. So then the idea for the other one was just a number 5 on the front, name across, bruh, it's my birthday. That's the vibe. Like that's what she sent, right? So before I kind of go and show, do you guys experience this where a customer will send you something and say, hey, I want something like this? What's your initial like reaction for it? Because I've seen some people like, I can't recreate, I got to create my own, I got to do this, and they want to come up with like this brand spanking new version of it. Is that you? If that's you, put a 3. If you're someone's like, okay, I'm just going to try and recreate that almost exactly just with my own fonts or whatever, put a 5 in the chat. Example, Halloween ideas in general, if that makes sense. It's items to use. Items to use would be fairly simple, ghosts, pumpkins, but placement and ideas is the issue. Okay. All right, so I see a 5. I tell them I can do something similar because I don't want to use someone else's design. So let's walk through this real quick. If you got some time, right? And if those who are watching, y'all got some time, let's walk through this. Now, this is where I'd rather be on a Zoom session and have you guys unmute and talk to me in real time. But every time I do these sessions like that, y'all become crickets. I guess I'm getting the wrong people in the Zoom sessions, and people come on and they don't want to say anything. So I don't really schedule the Zooms as much, because my goal was every time that I went live to schedule a Zoom session as well, so I can have people like in the room and be able to talk through it. But y'all think it'd be too good to be true, I guess. So what time do I have Zooms? I'm usually doing Zooms like while I'm live. Tried that for a while, but people get on there and it's like, y'all could have watched this on Facebook or YouTube. You're going to get in here and not say anything. So I've done them in the daytime. We have evening sessions. So we have what's called the Creative Lounge. You're going to see the graphic going to change to Creative Design Lounge, because we're focusing on design, and we will have sessions every single week. Now, those sessions are at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We are located in South Florida, so all of our classes are always Eastern Standard Time. Okay. But if you're, I know, okay, so you're at your 9 to 5, but if you're able to answer, right? So when you say that I can create something similar because I don't want to use someone else's design, similar would mean what to you? So which elements or which parts of this design would you keep, and which ones would you change to make your own? And anyone can answer. Like, I want as much engagement with this, because this, I promise you, the more that you answer questions and you think about things like this, it's going to help you with designing. So, and then I can make them bigger too if y'all can barely see them. So I'll do them one by one and make them a little bit bigger. and we'll bring this one to the front. So this was the first design, and we'll rotate him so that y'all can see. So with this one, what elements would you keep? What elements would you change? When it, excuse me, one. So I would keep the 5, find a similar font design on the first one. So this one you would pretty much keep as is, meaning the name at the top, the color. Well, they did this because the logo is just like this. Okay. So you would keep this exactly the same, just probably your own font, just a different font. Is that what you're saying for this one? And then, so I would keep the 5, find a similar font design on the first one. So for this one, you're saying you would have to try and find a font that was similar to this. And then for this part, so you would just change that, find the number thing for this, because her kid was 7. So what about the rainbow, the balloons, the clouds? What would you do with that? So you focus on the font part, but what about all of the other elements? The second one, I would pick a different font, something similar to Wavy. I can't remember what that font is called. Okay. So hope all is well. I can do something like it, but it's not going to be the same. Okay. But what does that mean? You guys understand that when you're not able to articulate to them what that means, but you want them to pay before you design, you could be shooting yourself in the foot. Rather than say, like there's certain ways that you can ask the question to make sure that you have creative liberty. But certain verbiage, when you say it to them, it can turn them off, right? Because in their mind, they like this layout. Like, okay, how close is it going to be to this layout? And when you can't articulate that, they might move on to somebody else. So when we say, I can't wait, I can do something like it, but it's not going to be the same. As a customer, it's like, okay, you're going to give me something totally different. What does that mean? So that's what I'm saying. Like right now, I want you to walk through it. What would you keep? What would you change? Like, okay, if I'm doing the rainbow, I'll do a rainbow, but I can't give you that rainbow, but I'm still going to include a rainbow. I'm still going to include clouds. I can include balloons. Like what elements stay relatively the same and what changes completely? And when you guys have consultation with clients, are you asking them questions about what they are envisioning? Do you have a questionnaire? Do you have a way for them to be able to let you know what are their non-negotiables? So after I tell them that, I will then send them my design. You ain't got no money first? So you just designing and sending, you just doing work. She says, you're right. I need to talk. Too much typing and I type slow. I know what I want to say is just hard. Now, I don't know where you are in your journey, and I'm not going to say that it is for everyone where you need to charge upfront. If you are somebody who is not, like, you need to kind of get your design, like build your design muscle, then, and like you don't have enough social proof or like enough designs that they could look at and be able to see your level of designing, they might be hesitant to give you money up front before you show them design. I'll give you this pro tip, okay? So this pro tip is free, okay? If you are going to create something, right? I recommend, like, let's say she wanted like the number 7 or whatever. I might show a, like, okay, hey, I have the image. This is the image that would go on your shirt, but the mock-up of like my design, I would I would have chosen like a different character, and I also would have probably put like a different name, just so they can see like what font I would use, what, what characters, what rainbow, what this I would use. Like if I absolutely had to show something before they were willing to pay. And the reason why I would do that, because if it's something that's popular, I now can take that and, because it's not so custom to them, I can now take that and maybe still make some money off of, by selling that digital file or putting it out there like, okay, this is for those who are turning 4, those who are turning 3, whatever the age was, I could potentially use that and, create a digital product with it, right? So that I don't feel like I wasted my time. But also, if I was someone who was brand new to designing, I get really, really stuck with designing, this becomes an opportunity to practice designing. So I wouldn't necessarily see it as a waste if I had to design it first and then showcase it to them. But I just saw that you said you have a website. So to me, that means that you're not a newbie. You're not brand new to business. Like you got some motion going on. So should we really be doing a whole lot of work without some type of retainer, like without something that like I'm not going to get stiffed in putting in this work, right? But so what does them uploading a picture have to do with anything? We don't have a kid picture here. And I see that so often in groups where people, when it comes to custom designing, for them, customize is something that involves someone's picture. And they need that picture like to design around. But there's some, they don't want pictures on a shirt. They don't want it on anything. I just have a specific thing. So them uploading a picture really wouldn't, that wouldn't be an issue or a factor in something like this because it's just a regular design. So send my design before an order. Okay. All right. So is this just a private session between just me and is it Rika? Is this just a one-on-one between me and her? Because there's what 25 of you guys on, but I only see one person. Well, now, and also Nancy. I would keep the rainbow and the character, but change the font, play around with placement of the design. Okay. Oh, they send you their inspiration pick. Okay. You wasting bandwidth on your website for them to send you an inspiration pick? Oh, I need you to get into my creative business program, because we shouldn't be wasting, our bandwidth for stuff like that. That's something they can send in an email. All right, so let's take a look at the other one. Okay, so we're going to click on this one, bring this one up. All right. So with this design, what would be your course of action like when it came to something like this? I got to go turn the air on because it is now starting to get a little warm in here. So leave your comments on how you would do this design. Oh, also let me know, do you already know how to create wave text? Would you try to recreate the wave text? And if you don't know how to create it, would you have gone into a group and say, hey, how do I learn how to do this? All right. What would you guys have done with this particular design? If you did not know how to do the wave design, would you tell the client no, that you wouldn't be able to do it? If you had a very tight window, think about how long would it take you to learn how, like, learn a new skill. Would you attempt it, or would you turn it down? So glad you found me as well. We'll probably still be on. Or you can watch the replay of like the rest of this. We're at an hour and 11 minutes in, so just jump to that part. Well, okay, so I guess now I just need to finish teaching because the person that was engaging with me is leaving, since the rest of the 25 of you are choosing not to say not a word. I think it's cool like that. But this is the inspiration picture that they sent to me, right? So what you can't just pull from this. Now, there are some people, when they say copying a design, the client will send this. They would go into maybe like Silhouette Studio, or they're going to go into Canva. They're going to try and remove the background, i.e. the pictures, like the shirt and all that stuff. They're going to try and isolate that, and then they will try and put this part on a shirt just like that, or they would try and trace it and then put it on a shirt like that. That, to me, like, that is straight up copying and like taking someone's design verbatim and then just reusing it. And to me, that's just a big no. I'm a newbie in designing and it takes me forever. Then I get frustrated and want to give up. Okay. I will be honest and tell them no, but then I would learn how to do it. She says, I never say no. I always try first. So because a client sent this to you this way, that means you guys are not asking questions. Because what if it wasn't the design that they cared about and it was just the words, right? Because maybe their kid is always saying, bruh, like my 7-year-old, Zani mine is always saying, bruh, right? So if it was just about the words, bruh, it's my birthday, right? They probably didn't even care about the rest of it. They don't care what font you use. They don't care if it's waved, if it's straight. Maybe their birthday theme is going to be something also with like race cars. So they do want the checkerboard. But I'm finding so many crafters who are so afraid to ask questions, so many who are afraid to present something that is different from what they presented, especially if they're not giving you any feedback. Okay. So no, I don't know how to curve text. I'm going to start with this one. So she says, as said earlier, like the idea, but clueless how to formulate an idea. So I'll start here and I'm going to bring this one over. This is the design that was cut from HTV and put on a shirt. Uh-oh, I don't want it to take over. So let's go control and then bring it up. So there is the 7. It's not the same type 7. It's a totally different one. The name and the name and the number are the exact same font. So I didn't try, there was nothing for custom names. That could have been any font. I didn't try and match the style of that 7. I looked through my fonts. I'm like, it's a kid. It's playful. I picked a very playful font. You have to learn how to categorize fonts. Okay? Is it something that should be playful? Is it kid-like? Is it grunge? Is it masculine? Is it feminine? Is it bold? Is it soft? Is it frilly? Is it whimsical? This is how you should be looking at your fonts and not just downloading it just to download a font. then you end up with so many fonts that you don't know what to do. This is why you are stuck when it comes to designing, because you watch all these videos, all these people who are gurus and experts and just showing you this, and y'all are quick to ask, ooh, what font is that? And you think about it for that one thing, but not overall, like knowing, okay, I have these fonts that are for this, and knowing to go there. So I just knew it needs to be something that's kind of like playful, something like kid-like. And I wanted there to be some drama to it, because the original one does have it. I don't want to go through and like do the whole wave thing, but I knew it couldn't just be plain. We're not going to just take impact and be able to do this, right? In the original, all of them are a solid color. So this was a creative, decision, where this is a font that's outlined. The original font is outlined. I made the middle line solid, right? So knowing how to use your programs to do that, making that middle part solid, guess what program you cannot do that in? You cannot do that in Canva. You can't release strokes and you can't release elements and things of that nature to make it solid. This is why it's important to learn programs so that you can truly customize things. So I was able to do the checkered. I made that's squares. Really, really easy to do. Lined them up, no problem. Typed it out, arranged it. Now, for me, there were some design decisions that I had to make. If I were to take you to this and you would see the way this H is, it don't look like this. So for spacing, I had to reconfigure the way the H was so that it filled the space better, right? I decided to take the I out and put a number 7. But when I typed out the number 7, the lines and the dots, they were on the opposite side. That doesn't fit, right? So I had to be able to what's called release the path, right? So that it separates everything. And I was able to move that line and dots from the right side to the left side. I was able, like when it comes to, I'm going to try and zoom in some more. When it came to like things that like see how the I has this up here, the T. So because this is a 7, I needed to be able to add this little piece to the top of it. Being able to design in a program that allowed me to do that. I can go in, type it, just type a T, take that little piece off of there, put it on the 7. The more you are in classes and you are with someone that's helping you to unlock your creativity, that you don't have to make it an exact replica. You can type it out, choose a font, type it out, give them a couple options. They might like your version way better than the original. But that was just the starting point. That was just the words. I didn't have to sit up here and think about, okay, they just said, okay, we just need a birthday shirt. Just make me a custom birthday shirt. And they gave me nothing without knowing their personality, things of that nature, probably wouldn't have come up with, bruh, it's my birthday, right? I find that crafters typically try and make it more than what it is. They want to add splashes. They want to put their picture. They want to put the name, and they get frustrated when the client doesn't have a great picture, because it's like, that's all they know. Like, all I know is how to design with the picture. That's how I make it valuable. To them, it's, oh, me putting this, like putting their picture on the shirt. Oh, this is what's going to make them want to pay $25, $30, $40 for this shirt. They just want a shirt that they can come get right now. Like, maybe that's not in the stores. They have to order. They need this tomorrow. They need you to be able to make a design, make a shirt. And that's the true value that you bring is, especially in those last minute situations, you're able to facilitate that order because they cannot walk into anywhere, purchase it, and walk out with it in their child size, with their name on it, with an age on it. Am I making sense? Y'all with me? Because y'all quiet. Hello, Sharonda. Welcome, welcome. Hopefully, this won't be your last time here. Thank you for jumping on our live. Not sure how we came across your timeline, but I'm glad that we did. Hopefully, you are enjoying the information that you have heard so far. Feel free to ask questions. I am an educator. I love questions. So drop as many questions as you need. So I read that one. Yes, I learned that from you, and I started doing that. Okay. So we're going to zoom back out, and I'm going to show you guys this version. So with this, which, you know what, I probably should just go, you know what, let me go on over to, so you'll see that one. And do I still have okay, yeah. So this is, actually a lot of stuff changed with this one, right? This is actually the 7. Okay, hold on. So this might also be a little bit different. Hold on, because I think I may have skewed this one already. Okay, yeah. So this was the actual 7. This is my 7. Big difference. Oh, wait, y'all probably can't see that. Hold on. Can y'all see the difference in those two? Which one actually looks like a 7? 6, 7. I don't know where these kids get this from. At least they're not like us, how we used to always react to 69. Ew. Now, for some reason, theirs is 6, 7. The white one looks like a 7, right? So let me ask you this, right? We type this out. We like this font, right? Oh, it worked for everything else. The bruh, it's my birthday. It worked out. I like this font. You go to do the front part for the number, and it comes out like this. Would you, A, try to find a new font and not have it match the back? Or would you, B, change it? Or C, you think that in your mind, you were probably like, man, I really want to make this match, but I don't know how to do it. So that's your A, B, and C. A is scrap the font, try and find a new one. B is, you already have the skill, so I'm going to just change it. Like I'm going to, switch it up to make it look and adjust it and modify it. Or C, I would like to, but I don't know how to. I may be delayed. I'm driving, but screaming out my responses. I had this same image sent to me in August. Although I liked the design, it did not meet all of my needs, so I did it all over. Wait, I'm not sure. So wait, you created it, or you're saying that you had the bruh, it's my birthday, so you created your own version of it? So I would try. Okay, so see, you would like to be able to change it, but you don't know how to. Okay, I would try to change it, Do you feel like you would know what to do to change this to make it look more like a 7? And then same thing with you. You said you would go ahead and modify this one. And you know all of the steps to modify it, correct? If you have not given this video a like, if you can please do so, it helps the algorithm. It helps others find our broadcast. So if you could just give the video a thumbs up, a like, hit share. Okay, so another C, would like to, but not sure how to. Try with edit points. Ooh. Do you have an upgraded version of Silhouette Studio Designer Edition or Business Edition? So why would we be using trace? I don't understand. Like this is, we can click on this and we can type out. We only use trace when we can't edit something, when it's not in a path, when it doesn't have contoured edit points. That is the only time. Like, so if I click, oh no, this one has it because I trace and detach. But yeah, so this, we would trace this because see, there was a white background around it and it was just 4 points. So that's the only time that we should be tracing. So tracing should not be a part of this because there's nothing to trace. But edit points, I mean, we could possibly use that, right? So if you were to, you have to first know that in order to get to edit points, this is text. Text does not have edit points. So we can't just adjust text on this. Okay. So to use edit points, how do you make this where you can use edit points if it's just text? There's my internet going in and out. I don't know. Am I going in and out? Is that why people aren't responding? Is my broadcast blurry? Am I going in and out for y'all? Because I guess the internet's acting kind of funky again here. Everybody's home. Everybody's home today because there was no school. By now, they all would have been home anyway, but they've been home and on video games, taking up all the bandwidth all day long. MJ's playing racing games. Imani's been, I don't know if Imani played games today or if he was just on his shows on YouTube and stuff. And his TV is a smart TV, so like all streaming. But it's been hectic today when it comes to, when we have the highest plan, so they say, but today for some reason has been hectic with Wi-Fi. So make it a compound path, okay? Okay, I'm not going in now for you. All right. So make compound path, and that's one way too. You all right. So if you ungroup it, you also have edit points, but there's a lot of edit points here. So how would you go about moving? And you're selecting other stuff. How are you going to move these edit points? Are we going to move them one by one or section by section? How long would this take? So what are we tracing? There's nothing to trace. This was not sent to me by the client. I made this 7. So you ain't got nothing to trace unless you're going to take a screenshot of this and you're going to trace it. But I created this from this number 7. So simplify takes away the number of edit points that are there, but it doesn't make it like, and actually that added points. Look at what it did to this. So simplify isn't necessarily going to do much of anything for you. So yeah, I understood what you meant as far as simplify, meaning simplify the edit points. But that's still like, you still need a certain amount of edit points. There are tools and functions that will make your life 1,000 times easier. Even just knowing that this is possible is something that it misses people. Like they're like, it escapes people, and just thinking that I can just customize this. At the end of the day, this is what our creative design lounge is for. It's not about creating the full design. Like taking the time to learn how to modify and edit numbers like this, and knowing the proper tools to use to make your life easier. And it can be as simple as 1, 2, 3. But when we say, I don't always know what to do, I'm finding that a lot of crafters, they're trying to figure out the big picture all at one time. They want to be able to go and see the full vision instead of working on it little by little by little by little. That's how I build designs. So I actually came over here. It's another good thing I kind of came from here. I want to bring up, actually, so this one's good here. I'll bring this one up. And let's go here and here. So here, I'm going to go back to that one, but I originally came over here for this one so you can really see this one up close and personal. Y'all know I like being on design pages when I don't have to be. So again, this was the inspiration pic that the client sent. We have birthday. It's in multiple colors. It's a rainbow. There's boy. And you know what? Let me do. Oh, so here it is. So this is what this is based off of. It's something that's called number blocks. So this is how number is. This is how blocks is, right? So based off of the way the logo is, the one thing that I can appreciate, like with the person that did this, was they did not try to follow that font, which is actually the most basic font ever, but it's like theirs is more of like a typewriter font, but the actual logo is like this. And so it follows certain colors. And then I'm a very observant person. So I eventually realized that the number, like the word number, when you're looking at the characters, that's the order that it goes in. So the number 1 is red. The number 2 is this orange. The number 3 is the yellow. The number 4 is the green. The number 5 is the blue. And then for number 7, for some reason, it's like a combination of all of the numbers 1 through, 6 might be 6. Where is 6? 6, 7. Oh, so 6 is actually the purple color. So that's like this. And then 7 combines everything from 1 to 7. And then 9 is its own color. 8 is its own color. 9 and 10 are like their own colors. But the original, like it followed like their colors from numbers 1 through 7. And then they just have this blocks part. And then he's like in the middle. So this is like this is the logo that design is based off of. So I wanted to kind of bring all of that, together. All right. So again, this is the request, and there you can see they're all about rainbows. So this is where the rainbow comes in. It's for a birthday. So there are some balloons. So my interpretation of this design was this. And I could have easily taken this, and I'm going to duplicate it, and we'll ungroup. We'll delete this, we'll delete this, and we'll delete this. I mean, I could have brought this down where it looked more like the original, or even brought that to the front where it would have looked more like it. I just didn't have like individual balloons. Like my balloons that I found were clusters of balloons. I didn't add like the little additional circles and things of that nature on mine. The way theirs was set up, theirs looks more elongated. But I was able to accomplish that look and feel, but in my own way. I didn't have to necessarily come up with a whole new concept. I just had to figure out the fonts that I would use to create the design. I had to just go find a rainbow. Now, I've worked with a bunch of designs that have had rainbows in it. I just went and grabbed one of those. I just used this like in a Care Bear design. I actually had one set. I could have used the one that I had myself. I created a set of clouds for the Care Bear design, which a lot of my students saw me make in real time. So luckily, I already had a rainbow because I've done that and I've worked with, doing rainbow designs before. I just repurposed that. This cloud is one of these. I just removed the rest of it, right? So I used what I had to basically mimic that design. They had balloons. I added balloons. I just didn't do the individual balloons. So when we say it's like we're sitting there trying to figure out what to do, is it because we're trying to make this thing completely different? Now, I took way too long on this because I fell in love with Photoshop. Is it still up? No, it's shut down already. Oh, no, it's over here. I fell in love with Photoshop's. Hold on. And I not almost did it. So I could have left that up on Photoshop because I was going to do the wave thing. And I was like, I really want to. So I went into Photoshop and I was turning everything. They have like in the beta version, they have this new like embroidery filter, baby. I was turning everything. You hear me? Everything into an embroidery file. Okay. Everything. I was making it into embroidery. And I thought about doing that, but I'm like, then I have to do it for the back. And I ain't want to do all that extra work to do the back part of it. So I just scratched that idea and just went with the regular letters. But definitely could have gone that route. And then for the back one, and then I gave mine a little bit more, tried to incorporate like the whole rainbow colors and not just make it like a solid color, because I did forget to ask what was his favorite color, because I would have made the 7 based off of his favorite color, but I did forget to ask. So I just made a whole bunch of rainbow colors on mine for this one, but it's a rounded rectangle. It's just text in the middle. Like there's ways to be able to do this, and learning it and becoming aware of it is the harder part. And how to use certain tools and be able to look at designs as shapes, it becomes a lot easier, but it's going to take the right type of training. Our creative design program does that. The link is in the description. I heard someone say the other day, if something if it's too low, I'm not doing it because it can't be valuable. Everybody's business model is different. And for me and how I do things, I try to make things affordable because there's always different learning opportunities. A lot of my classes are a la carte, and there's a lot of classes like to learn all the stuff that you would need to be able to take. I'm not accredited. I don't have, all this other stuff. I don't understand like the value of certain things, but I try to make it affordable. It's $43.65 to enroll, like your first enrollment. You get access to all the other videos and things that are there. And then you will be in the room for the month of October, where we're going to go through different design techniques. how to take a number and shift it and change it and modify it. So there's going to be some days we work in Photoshop. There's going to be some days we work in Canva. Some days we work in Silhouette Studio. But this is where you're going to learn to design. Our Essentials of Silhouette Studio teaches you Silhouette Studio, like the tools and what they do. Designing is designing. When we go through the design things, I'm not teaching you how this tool works, why it works. We're just going to go through the process. If you really want to learn and know these tools, then you have to take classes like Essentials of Silhouette Studio. Great thing though is when you enroll in the Creative Design Lounge, you get discounts for all of the other classes. So you're still going to be able to save. So it's $43.65 for the first month. Each month thereafter, it's only $25.63. That's it. And this month, it is going to be jam-packed with learning how to make those small things. We often too often try and do like visualize the whole design and work on the entire design all at one time. This was built out line by line. I didn't approach this as one big design. Okay. So you can break it down in bite-sized pieces. So she says, you have me stumped, which is a good thing. So I'm going to give you guys a freebie. I'm going to let you see exactly how I did this, which edit points is a part of it, but it's not the main thing in how you would adjust this. So she's like, I'm sorry at work. I'm going to have to watch again. I missed this because your text class, and in your text class, you showed us how to do things like this. Okay. I am learning to practice what I know learned by either creating design from scratch or to try and duplicate something I see or use something as an inspiration. One of the best things you can do as someone who is trying to develop your design muscle and strengthen your design muscle is look for something and literally recreate that thing. Don't try and like deviate too much from it. Identify the shapes. Don't worry about the fonts. Figure out your own fonts. I'm going to try and find, I'm going to do it over here. Those who are in our creative business program and also the creative lounge, I end up showing this in one of our pro call sessions. I was inspired by Honey Pot. Does anybody who here knows what Honey Pot is? Who knows what Honey Pot is? Have you ever heard of Honey Pot? And I'm looking for my file while you guys are answering that. Dang, it was this far down. I be over here designing, child. I be getting it in. It's been that long since I opened up that file because normally it'll jump to the top. I could have sworn I opened up that file recently. I really haven't opened up that file in this long. Oh, wow. Oh, dang. It can't be this far down. Oh, yeah, it is. Oh, wow. Okay, it really was this far down. Actually, this isn't the one, though. Dang it, that's not the one. That's after I added other stuff to it. That's not the one that I wanted. Dang it. What did I do with it? Because the one I'm thinking of, I actually had the Honey Pot screenshot on there. So that's not it. I can't believe. No, stop it. I cannot believe I can't find that one right now. Because if I don't show you what it was before, you probably won't have full context and like really be able to connect the dots to what I did versus like what I saw. And I'm looking for the one that has the honey pot screenshot in there as well. I have no idea where it's at. I do need to do better with organizing Canva files because I open up so many different things that they just be all over the place. So I do need to do better with that. But I don't see it. Okay, so let me see if I can't find um dang it. I'm not gonna be able to find now. Actually, if I go to Facebook, it might pop up. Now that I've said it, y'all know your phones pick up on stuff all the time, and it's gonna show you like it hears you say certain things and it ends up showing it to you. So watch, it ends up coming up in my feed. Dang it, dang it, dang it. Oh, I'm so mad. But it'll probably pop up in my feed, and then I'll have to just if you follow me on Facebook, I'll have to put it on, like I'll post a picture of it. Cause yeah, they don't have the promo pick. But watch as soon as I get off this live, watch it shows up in my feed. Watch. But I'll still show it to you. Now I gotta try and get back to the StreamYard feed. Um so yes, it's a feminine hygiene brand. So never heard of it. Someone, yes, yes. Yes, it's a feminine hygiene brand. So they had a promo, and I'm just hoping that it pops up while I'm on here since I searched honeypot and I went to their, that's the best way to get it to come up is for me to go to their website, because once you go to their website, it then pops up on your phone. If you didn't know that, because they have pixels. Um, but I'll still show. So let me take that off and let me see if I can't get it to pop up. I'm going to turn the volume down and let's see if I don't end up getting a honeypot commercial or advertisement on my feed. Pretty sure I will end up getting one. Because it's going to make it make more sense. All right, probably just got to give it a little minute for them to realize I went to the website. Normally, it's like almost instantaneous when you go to a website and then come back. You normally see like their ads and stuff. Come on. Okay. It'll probably come up. Like I said, it'll come up. I'm going to show you this. So we were in the class, and this was grad season time, and I created this based off of how the honeypot promo was. So they basically had a circle in the middle, and then they had different products around the side. Like the middle stated like whatever their promo was at the time. And so being able to take from that, like, okay, just seeing the outline of it, and I was able to take that, and it ended up being one of the ones that Javia from Gifted Hands by Javia used, because she's in my creative business program, and we use it as an example. And then like filled everything in and stuff like that. But that was I wish you guys can see the inspiration picture, and then how just arranging your items, like it's nothing to do with the feminine, like something that was totally what most people would consider left field, but it became the inspiration to a layout, because you're still a company that promotes things. So being able to take from that, and it's like it's a circle. Do you know how to remove the background from your images? Do you know how to add shadows? Now, if you don't know how to do that, that's why you need to be in a class where you're learning how to properly do those things. But once you have those small skills, so remember I said, oftentimes people try and go and they want to look at the screen and they want to build this out completely, like all in one, versus working on the individual skills that it would take to build this out. How do you remove the background? How do you add shadows? How do you add text? How do you change colors? How do you layer things? Like once you learn all of these individual design functions, techniques, tasks, you can then build up your design. So if you are struggling, the next time you sit in front of your computer to do a design, start with one element. The thing that stands out to you, work on that. A lot of the times, the ideas will trickle down from you working on that first one. Like just pick something. If you know that, I think the example someone gave was Halloween. If you want to create something for Halloween, what's the words that you want to use for it? Is it just going to say boo? Is it going to, say spooky something or whatever? Like whatever it is, start there. Type those words out. Find 2, 3, 4, 5 different fonts that you can just play around with. When you have those fonts, play around with making them different colors. Play around with the spacing on it. And then that might spark something. Oh, okay, well, I want to change this O in spooky to a pumpkin. I will to a jack-o'-lantern. Let me go find a jack-o'-lantern image and get a couple of those. Like, don't just go for the first one that you see. One might work well in one design. The other might work well in a different one because of the way that it's designed. Does it have thin lines, thick lines? All of these different elements. So find a couple of them, bring it into design, put one on top of the other. But if you are just trying, like you want it to be one and done, you are going to struggle with designing from now until the real rapture. Because y'all know they had themselves in a tizzy over the rapture this week or last week. So, but you will be, they've changed their stuff. So I did get that's so funny. So I did get a promo, but they have changed it since, that has been a while. So, but I did get, that's so funny. I did get a promo. Told y'all, like the quickest way to find something as a company, say their name, search their name, go to their website. They have pixels, and then it ends up on your feed. Okay, if you didn't know that. So you're wondering like why stuff kind of pops up sometimes. It's because you search for it or you said it and the pixels picked it up. And you might want to learn how to do that for your own websites if you have a website. I'm so upset. And I figured as much too, because it is, that promo is probably long gone. But if you're in the creative business, you get to see that like in the playback, I show it. I show the actual like promo thing. Now, what I'll probably do is I'll take one of the ones here and I will create some sort of promo like based around it. Even with like, Oh, you can't really see that. See that? Oh, that sucks. So I'm gonna have to hold my camera really close. You see where it says body cleansers, right? Let's say if you needed to create something for a brand, ideally, yes, people want to, like, they should have all these elements, like these bottles and stuff and all the products in a picture. They took a picture of it, and you may have to like change the background and things like that. But there is a way to take one item and stack it together to make it look just like this setup. Add all of your supporting elements to it, change your background. We also did that in Creative Design Lounge as well as Creative Business. We went over that as well, because we did that one for, I'm going to bring this one on the screen. We did that for this one. These are not, this was not, actually, no, this one may have been taken. This one may have been taken all together, but these are all separated. I don't remember if this one was, if I end up arranging these like this, because we did go through this where I'll go to this one though. This one I know for sure. This is one set or two, that one set of bags, but then you make it look like it's a bunch of them by repeating it. So you don't always have to have that photo shoot where everything is taken like all together and stuff like that or whatever. Oh yeah, see, these were, okay, yeah. So these are all the individual ones. And then I removed them and like, did all this stuff, whatever. Then I was able to put things together and then also adjust the lighting. So we teach this in our class. All right. But don't worry about trying to build out everything all at one time is, the gist of this. So I will close out with this, and I'll show you really quickly how I did this one. So first things first, I'm going to release Compound Path because I want these to be individuals. Then I have to ungroup it. I'm going to click this side and just weld it together. This side over here, we'll select it, hold down Shift, click. I'm going to group that together, bring that over here for now. So now when it comes to this one, I am going to rotate it just a little bit. If you have Designer Edition or Business Edition, under Transform, there is a shear. You click on here and you are able to make this slant. You can go up, down, or whatever with it and make it slant. And because I welded it together, I can now double click, grab on these, and oops, I wasn't over far enough. And we're going to go over like that. And I think I did extend this some. And there's now my 7 that actually looks like a 7. Take this, rotate it. Ungroup. Shrink this down. And then I took one from another one, but I really could have just taken this from here and shrunk it down as well. My edit points, but it was easy just to take it from another one because then it's all like wobbly, whatever. But that's literally what I did to take it from this 7 that doesn't look like a 7 to this one. A couple of steps. But you won't know how to do that if you're not looking for the right instructions. A lot of tutorials don't break it down little piece by little piece. Or you're going to, even if they do, you're going to have to condition yourself to focus on it piece by piece. But in the Creative Design Lounge, we are going to be working in different programs. So you're not left out no matter what program you use. Even when I go into Photoshop, you would still be able to follow along in Photo P. It just looks a little bit different, but you would still be able to follow along, and Photo P is free to use. But we use Photoshop, Silhouette Studio, and Canva. You will learn to create different design elements within these programs and how to utilize them so that you're not sitting in front of your computer countless hours and not really getting anything done because you don't know how to put designs together. That is what the Creative Design Lounge is all about. It's a 25. I mean, if I can't help, if you're somebody that's in this to make money, if I cannot help you make $25 to be able to pay for that, then shame on me. But if you're taking what all you are learning and applying it, you should be able to sell something where you can cover your membership and be able to have more. The Creative Business Program is where you're going to learn how to really take these things and monetize them, how to properly price. We're now focusing on taxes. We're going to start preparing you for those of you who either have to give your things to your accountant, if you want to do it yourself. Even if you have an accountant do it, you can always plug your numbers in on any of the free tax sites so that you can see how much you're going to make. But knowing what to break down, like what goes under marketing, what's general, what's actually inventory, and how you're going to put that on inventory, what's just general business things, what all can you deduct. This is a lesson that's coming up so that you can be prepared to process everything and get all of your documentation together for your taxes. That is in Creative Business. We're going to go over marketing. So you saw how that was for, I showed you two different students who's in our Creative Business Program where I helped them come up with different marketing campaigns where you don't have to create videos, with your face, and you ain't got to do no dance, and all this other stuff for advertisement and for promo. You can make static images. You can even animate part of it to where it can be a reel and you can put music to it. But that part is in for the understanding promo and branding and all things business, how to properly take your orders, customer service, all of those different things is in Creative Business. And then Creative Design is all things design, learning about how to properly size things. I just saw a question in a group and I can't wait to dive into that because it was like, how do I put the sizing, when you're putting something on the back of the shirt, how do you go about that? I mean, even sizing in general, the designs that I showed, they're all different dimensions. So based off of how they are designed, are they wide? Are they narrow? Are they short? Are they long? Are they, is it in a square? Is it a circle? Those things matter in how big you make a design. So understanding how that works will help you. Understanding how to design for what method you're going to use for print or to make something. There's going to be certain things and certain designs that don't work well for HTV or adhesive vinyl. If you're going to put it on a cup, there's going to be some things that don't work well for DTF. I know in y'all minds, y'all think DTF works for everything, but it doesn't. Because when you have things that have transparent areas, if you don't know how to make that basically half tones and your own, anywhere there's no color, kind of taking that away, it can muddy things and you end up seeing white where you don't want to see white because when you're showing the preview, it doesn't have any white, but DTF floods the back with white. So you have to know what you can design for DTF. It's going to come out looking exactly like that mock-up, and what you can't. For sublimation, what's the limitations on these things? Which sublimation, there's no limitation to because you're printing and pressing it onto white. So that's one that has literally no limitations. But you learn all of these different things in the Creative Lounge. The links for them are in the description of this video. The longer you wait, the more it will cost. So count yourself privileged if you are listening to this video when it is still the price that it is, because it will progressively go up the more things are added to it. Okay. She says, wow, that transformation was awesome. Sunday, I spent 7 hours creating a rhinestone template from a logo for my cousin's business. It took too long, but I learned a lot. And that's the thing too, right? Some things will take a long time, but if you learn through it, and now, like, especially if you learn things to make it easier the next time, or maybe you use a tool or a technique that you hadn't used before, it can, you learn a lot in it, but you want to be able to keep doing it. My recommendation to you, which a lot of people don't bother to do, you got it done, right? When you have some true life free time, go through that process again. The things that you learned, apply that, right? And see if now this time around it goes faster. Most people want to test their retention of knowledge by, okay, oh, I'm so excited about this. I want to do a brand new design. I want to turn something else into rhinestones. But that logo may have different challenges where you're still going to sit there for 7 hours because it has a different set of challenges that other design technically didn't prepare you for. But if you do the exact same design that you have already accomplished, do it over 1 time, 2 times, even 3 times. Each time you're trying to get progressively faster with it. If you can, like if there's wiggle room, there are some things that they just take time. I've done designs and certain things where there's so much editing where it literally takes me a full work day to get it done because there's so many moving parts. But it's not because of like lack of knowledge. It's just that it was a tedious process. So go through and see if the things that you learn with that design, you know what the final outcome should be, if it can be done faster. Also, I'm saying this to my students all the time. If you struggle with something like, well, I had a question and I couldn't figure this out, but I ended up doing it. I don't know if it's the right way, but I did it. Okay, what was it? And they don't want to ask the question. They don't want to share it. They don't want to, because maybe it's something you didn't pick up on. I now can show you a way where this can be done a whole lot faster. We have full on interactive sessions for you to ask the questions. I don't care if you did the design 3 months ago and you're like, I want to be able to do this again, but I'm afraid to do this again because this took way too long. This is what I did. Okay, can you give me some pointers, some tips on X, Y, and Z? That is what these sessions are for, especially when we're having pro calls. If it's not an actual lesson and we're having a pro call, which is a call that I do nothing but answer your questions. Now, if you don't ask questions, we ain't got nothing to answer. But the more questions you ask, the better, the more you learn. So I invite each and every one of you to join the Creative Lounge, and I would love to see it, Judy, what you created. Not sure if you're on Facebook, you want to send it to my inbox, you want to email it to me, the professor at hsinc365.com, like a little picture of what you did. I would love to be able to see, what it was that you created and what you created it from. All right. Now, if you said something on Facebook, I did shut that down, so I no longer see that. Let me go back and see, make sure I'm not missing anything. Any questions for me before I hop off? Nope, no questions. All right. Well, no comments, should I say, on the Facebook one. Any questions for me before I hop off? We've been on for 2 hours. Speak now, forever hold thy peace. We're probably not. I've gone back and forth about it, and at this point, it's just not worth it. Yeah. Like I said, I mean, I've been this close to shutting down, honestly speaking, to altogether. So yeah, I was going back and forth, and I finally made the decision that I'm not going to. You can get, like, there's place on Amazon that sells it, but yeah, we're not going to bring them in. It's just not with the way shipping and stuff is. And because people don't really have that, it's not worth it to keep them on hand and pay the cost, the customs cost, and all that stuff for it. So no, we won't be bringing those back. And for those who don't see it on Facebook, she's asking about the chip resetter, because I forgot that feed is for YouTube only. So those on Facebook, she asks whether or not we will be selling chip resetters anymore. All right, and going once, going twice. Sold, as what's name say? She used to say sold to the lady in the pink dress. I think that's what she used to say over on TikTok. I can't think of her name right now. Oh, well, I did end up doing one. Let me tell y'all, I was so mad. Oh, did the back of this shirt came out great, right? I don't even know where this came from because I trimmed everything. Nothing got on the back. Nothing whatsoever got on the back. I went to do the front of this, and I have no idea where in the hell this came from. Was mad. But I was like, whatever, I can always use this for teaching purposes. So, yeah. And also, I think I hit something wrong because I was actually also upset that the colors down here, although they're not bad and the customer would not have known, it looked a little weird. But yeah, so this was technically the final version of that design. All right. Until next time, guys, have a great one. Continue to unlock your creativity and be incredible. Peace.